What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Southwest Fishing. So today we're going to be doing a quick little video on 3 different techniques to catch fish for beginner fishermen. Like I said, this video is going to be more based toward beginner fishermen, anywhere from day 1 to maybe a year in. If you're a year into fishing, you probably do know at least 2 out of these 3 techniques. The first one's going to be the drop shot. The second one's going to be the Texas rig. You could do it weightless or weighted. And then the third and final one, people know, but they don't use it as much as they should, and that is called the Neko rig. All 3 techniques are going to shred fish and you're going to load up. I'm going to show you guys how to rig them properly and also explain how to work them, especially if the fish are really finicky. Drop shot, very finesse style bait, but even sometimes, being as finesse as it is, the fish will not hit it. So I'll show you certain ways to work it to where you should get bit and at least be able to hook up at least once or twice. So stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoy this video. And hey, we're at 850 subs exactly. Almost at 1,000. I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you who's hopping on board to my channel. And I just love the growth. Thank you all so much. And not only that, but I'm also going to be doing a giveaway very quickly here. I've been looking. I made a post on my Instagram today. If you guys have not yet followed me on Instagram, SWF Fishing 101. That's my Instagram name. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram. And I made the post today. It's either going to be an SLXDC reel or a Lose Mach 2 combo. So whichever way it sways more, if more people want the SLXDC or if more people want the Mach 2, that's the one I'm going to get for you guys. So let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to be starting off with the drop shot rig. I'm going to tie it up, show you guys how to tie it up and how it's supposed to look. I like to pair it up with a size 2500 reel to a size 3000 reel. I currently have a 13 Creed with 8-pound test on it. 8 to 10-pound test is usually what you want for a drop shot rig. A lot of people like to use fluoro. I've done just fine with mono, so don't feel pressured to have to use fluoro or anything like that. If you like, definitely do it. I've had luck with both, but I've never had any issues with mono, so I use mono. For the size rod that you want to use for a drop shot rig is a medium fast action rod. This one that I'm using right now that I always use is my Cadence. It's a 7.2 medium fast action. You can also get away with a medium light action rod, fast tip. Sometimes it's a little bit too light, but you really get to feel those bites a little bit better than you would with a medium action rod. So totally up to you, but those are the 2 options that you can do. Having a 7-foot rod at least, personally for me, is the best. You get that extra casting distance, and if need be, you usually have a bit more backbone on the rod to be able to get the fish in if you hook up with a big one. So let's get this started. So here's my 8-pound test, 8-pound mono. I got my size 2 hook. You can either go with a size 2 or a size 1, totally up to you. Depends on how big the fish are. So you're going to feed it through the eye, and then you're going to feed it back through the eye, just like this. And then that's going to cause a full-on loop on one end and then 2 separate tags on the other end. Pinch it together, create plenty of room. Sorry for that line getting in the way. Try to get that behind. There we go. Grab the line, make it tight, just like that. And just like that very first loop on your shoelace, you're just going to do 1 loop underneath so that you get that circle created, just like that. You're then going to grab the circle. This is at least what I do. Grab that, create a triangle, and put it underneath the hook and lift it up, just like that. Then you're going to use your tongue to kind of help you gain balance of it, I guess you could say, a little bit better, and pull it down. You always want to make sure that it goes down on top, just like that. If it goes down on the bottom, you might fray your line, and if you hook up with a big fish, he might snap your line. So always make sure it's on top so you have a perfect knot. This knot is called the Palomar knot. I use it pretty much for everything. And look, perfect. Exactly how you want the hook to be, pointed straight upward. If you ever have a situation where your hook is pointed downward when you tighten everything up, you can feed your line, this tag end right here, and feed it back through the eyelid, and it'll turn your hook pointing upward. But this is a perfect, the hook is pointed up exactly how you want it, and you want the hook pointed up because when the fish comes in for your bait and they go to grab it, you get that perfect hook set, and you can just rip that lip and get that perfect hook set. This is also a Gamakatsu hook, very, very sharp. I recommend these hooks to anybody. Very, very good. So now as you can see, you have, man, sorry about that line. Let me try to get this a little bit better. Here we go. So as you can see, you got all this extra line. If the water's more clear, I'd say you want to go, I'd say about 8 inches of line before you put your sinker on. For murky water and whatnot, I like to go with 6. I like to have it a little bit lower in the water column. But if it's clear water, I like to go 8, just in case the fish might see the sinker, think something's up, and they won't hit it. So then you come over here, you grab your sinkers. I picked these up at Liar's Corner. These types, so there's a couple types. These types that are more of a ball, these ones work really, really well in rocky situations. You don't hang up as much, and you can bounce them on the rocks perfect. If you have the really long ones and you're fishing around rocks, you might have some trouble and you might hang up because that little narrow tube type of lead weight is going to shoot into the rocks and you're not going to be able to pop it out. This is small enough to where even if it goes inside, you can pop it right out. So you're going to grab your weight, you're going to feed it right through the little eye, if I could do it. There we go. And then you're going to match it up with the hook however far you want it. So I usually like it about, me personally, I like it about that distance. I usually think that's a pretty good distance. So then you'll grab it, just pull up, lock it into place, good as good. Bite that excess line off, and there's your drop shot rig. Then you come over here, you grab whichever bait that you like for drop shots, and there are so many amazing different lures for drop shots. But the ones that I'm using just for an example today is the Arizona Custom Baits. This is a 4.5 inch oxblood color. It reminds me of cinnamon. This is an excellent color for clear water. Very, very good. It's kind of like a cinnamon color with some red flake in it. So what you want to do, grab your hook, find the bottom of that bait, and just get the hook right there and feed it right to the point. You don't want to put it past the barb. If you put it past the barb, your bait's going to look awkward in the water column. It's going to be like kind of floating like this and off balance. If it's right on that barb, just like that, it's going to sit pretty straight in the water column. You're going to be bouncing it and you're going to be slaying the fish. So just keep that in mind as well. That usually helps you get on a few more fish. So I hope you guys were able to see that relatively well. That's the drop shot rig. Now we're moving over to the Texas rig. The Texas rig, excellent technique. Been used for years and years and years in the fishing industry. You want to use anywhere from 14 to 17 pound test depending on what you're fishing. If you're trying to punch it and whatnot, I'd go with 17, maybe pushing 20, but I think getting away with 17 is pretty good. On my Mojo bass rod, it is a 7.6 medium heavy. I also have 14 pound test P-line. P-line is more of a beginner line, and this line, actually, I don't use this rod as much. So when I first got into bait casters, it's just what I put on. But P-line, it's a good beginner line, and I've never really had any issues with it. I now put Seeger on all of my reels when it comes to bait casting for fluorocarbon and whatnot, because it's just, there is the abrasion, it's just better quality. It can withstand more. But haven't had any issues. This is 14 pound test P-line fluorocarbon. Let me grab all of this stuff. Got a few things you need. There they are. Alright. So here's a few things you need. First, the bait of your choice. You can use a beaver, you can use a cry, you can use a Senko, you can use a finesse worm, whatever you want. There's so many different ways to rig a Texas rig. You can go weightless with no weight. You literally do the same thing I'm going to do without putting a bobber stopper on and no weight. You just tie the hook on, put your bait on, and that's it. So you got your bobber stoppers. I like a size 4 hook, just like that. Very sharp, very good hook. And then I like using a tungsten weight, anywhere from a 1/4 ounce all the way to a 1/2 ounce, just depending on what you're fishing, how deep you're fishing, stuff like that. So you're gonna grab your line, you're gonna grab the little bobber stopper, you're gonna pop one of those little suckers out, just so it's like that. And then you're gonna feed your line right through it, so that you have that tag right there. Pinch, pull, 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 pull. Your bobber stopper's now on. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to your sinker. This is a 3/8 ounce tungsten. I like using tungsten because tungsten is more of a dense metal, smaller profile, not as many issues when it comes to fishing. I notice with the leads, sometimes if you have a 1/2 ounce lead weight, thing's so massive, it creates you to hang on the grass, hang on the weeds, hang up just in general. So I like tungsten, smaller profile, and plus it just fits with most baits better. Now you're going to do the same exact knot that we did with the drop shot. Feed it through. Sorry for all that clacking. If I can get a hold of this line before I hook myself in the finger, perfect. Feed it through. Feed it back through again. If you can get it, come on. Doesn't want to feed through. There we go. Grab each side. There we go. Just like that. I like to get it nice and even. Wrap around just like that very first shoelace. Create that circle. Pinch the circle. Put the line underneath. Hold the tag upward because you do not want it to get stuck underneath, because like I said, that can cause a fray and cause you to lose a very big fish. Use your tongue to make sure it stays up top. See, that's not what you want right there. See how the line popped down? You want it always upward. Hold it and pull it. Just like that. Perfect knot. Bite that excess off. You then have that. You can pull your bobber stopper down. And what the bobber stopper does is, with the bobber stopper, if you want your bait to look a little more realistic in the water column and kind of flow a little bit, you can have the bobber stopper up here, because then you have that line. When it's on the bottom, your bait just kind of flutters, your sinker will flutter back and forth. But if you want to be able to punch it and get into some pretty tight spots, have it pretty close. You're then going to grab your bait of choice. Again, this is just a beaver, just for an example. You're going to feed it through the very top, the nose of the bait. Put it down about 1/2 inch. Feed it all the way through, just like that. Then you're going to pop this sucker right through. Perfect. So it looks like this. And then bend it up, because with these types of lures, when it comes to Texas rig, you want your bait to sit as flat as you possibly can. It's still not that perfect, but it's still relatively flat. So you can see it right there. Pretty flat. You got the bobber stopper, you got the tungsten weight, and then you got your bait of choice. So many different lures that you could do. Now, with the Texas rig, what you want to do, cast it out, do whatever you need. You can either pop it and pop, 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 reel up, pop, 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 get the little appendages kicking up. Sometimes you could do a super slow retrieval just on the bottom and then give it a couple pops. Slow retrieval, give it a couple pops. And then you can also flip it out and also just lift it. So it goes up and flutters down. It goes up and flutters down. Super simple techniques just for this. And then the last technique is the Neko rig. So let me pop off the drop shot. Actually, before I do that, I didn't show you guys how to work the drop shot. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cast it out wherever you need it to be. You're gonna use your rod, and if the fish are really finicky and just popping it, barely popping it, isn't working, pop reel, pop reel. If that's not working, just lift it up. Just lift up your rod tip. Lift it up, and then lift it down. Because when you see your line go slack, what that's going to do, when your line's slack, your bait slowly fall into the bottom. You lift up, it goes back into the water column. You drop it, it goes back down. And sometimes you don't even have to move it. The fish will come to you because they see that thing floating in the water super slow. It looks like an injured or a dying bait fish. So they're going to come over, investigate it, and annihilate it. Alright guys, so my camera turned off, it overheated. So let's try to finish this up before it turns off again. So, this rig's very, very simple. All you need is a hook, a little nail weight. If you can't find any nail weights right now because a lot of stuff's sold out, you can go into your garage and literally just find a little screw. And I'll show you guys that in just a second. Same thing, same exact Palomar knot. I use this knot pretty much for everything, so. And I just learned this knot about a year ago. Before a year ago, I did my own little nonsense knot, and it got me through a lot of fishing. I really didn't lose many fish on it, but it eventually started failing me, especially when it came to the saltwater action. I lost a big bull dorado. I lost a couple big halibut, stuff like that. So that aspect of it sucked. So you got just a hook, nothing else. Then you grab your Senko. This is a black and blue Senko from Bass Heathens Company. They're based out of Kentucky, I believe. Small company, very, very cool. Check them out. They're on Instagram. Here's the nail weight that I was talking about. This is just a normal screw from my garage. I grabbed it right there. So you pick that up, you pop it right through the head of the worm, and you just feed it right through. All right, let's get this in fully. There we go. Cool. So with the wacky rig, you would feed it right there through the middle of the worm, barely poke it through, and it would sit like this. You'd pop in the water column, and it would just stay perfectly balanced. But with the Neko rig, what this is going to do with that weight on the bottom, it's going to cause it to sink, and then when it hits the bottom, it's going to stand up like this. And when you jerk it, it's going to pop along, pop along, pop along. That slight pop and that tail sticking up, barely moving, barely popping, the fish can't resist it. They annihilate it. I'm telling you guys, that is one of my new favorite techniques to use. Canals, ponds, lakes, rivers, doesn't matter. You'll catch fish. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up. My GoPro keeps dying. Hopefully my GoPro mic, I got the media mod. Hopefully that works pretty well. Let me know down in the comments. But all three techniques work anywhere, any body of water. They will all slay fish. And I hope this helped you guys, whether you're an avid fisherman or whether you're just starting off. I hope it helped you guys. Thank you for watching my channel. And we're almost at 1,000 subs. I'm so excited. Keep hopping on board to the Southwest Fishing Fam, and we'll get that giveaway going. And I appreciate you all so very much. So we'll see you guys next time on Southwest Fishing. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.